liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Notice of the meeting, pursuant of the Open Public Meeting Act NJSA 10:4-10 has been complied with and shall enter into the minutes of the meeting. Ms. Roas, we have roll call, please.
Trustee Anderson,
Here.
Trustee Beauties,
Anzu.
Trustee Chitala, Trustee Delgado, Trustee Finkelstein, Trustee Madhukar, Trustee Oris,
Here.
Trustee Pelori,
Here.
Trustee Raja,
Here.
Trustee Roman,
Here.
Trustee Sika,
Anzu.
Trustee Taffet, Chair Raja, we have a quorum.
Thank you. In order to assist the Assistant Board Secretary in taking the accurate minutes of the meeting, I request that trustee identify themselves for report when making second motion or abstention. May I have the motion to approve the minutes of the February 19th, 2029, 25 regular meeting?
Second. Trustee Anderson.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstains? Motion carried. Ms. Roas, do we have any correspondence?
Chair Raja, there is no correspondence.
No correspondence. And Dr. McCormick, do we have a presentation?
Sure, Roger, good morning. We do. So at Middlesex College, we've long focused on the whole student, and that means that students need support outside of the classroom, often in their lives. And so we've created, for a number of years now, a community resource hub. It's evolved a bit. You'll hear more about that in a minute. And also a food pantry. And so I'm going to introduce Jennifer Spears, Director of Counseling and Student Wellness, to get us started on a presentation about that. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning. Thank you, Dr. President McCormick. And good morning to the Board of Trustees, our executive leadership team, and everyone present today. We are honored to be here and would like to formally introduce you to our Community Resource Coordinator, Amanda Lyons, to share the amazing work of her and the team with the Hub and Pantry, serving students at Middlesex.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to tell you about the Community Resource Hub and Food Pantry and the students that we serve. Next slide, please. We are dedicated to building a culture of caring that recognizes students' needs, provides thoughtful support, and empowers wellness and success in the classroom and beyond. Next slide, please. This is our team. Along with Jennifer and I, you see Connie Saletti-Cafaro, Case Manager, Kayla McKellen, Hub and Pantry Assistant, and Caitlin Lugo, Hub and Pantry Specialist. Connie and Caitlin are here today. Thank you for being here. Okay, next slide, please. Our team also includes federal work study students. Pictured here are Adi Imi, Catherine, and Rekha, who utilize services of the Hub and Pantry and work in the pantry in service of their fellow students. They're incredibly hard workers, each graduating this year. By the way, all of the photos and stories that are shared today are shared with permission. Next slide, please. Okay, these are some student testimonials, and I want to just take a moment to read something from a very special student who graduated with her daughter in 2023. She wrote this to me on the first day that we met. Sometimes when you're at the mercy of others, it can be very uncomfortable, but you made me feel at home. I share this because it's important to recognize that it is hard to need help, and it can be even more difficult to ask for help. We want our students to feel at home. We want them to know that they belong here at Middlesex College and should feel empowered by utilizing resources that help them thrive. Next slide, please. The food pantry provides free nutritional support for students along with personal and household items. We have 2 shopping options: a weekly grocery shop where students may fill a shopping basket with items of their choosing, or what we call a grab and go, which is a daily option for students to stop in for snacks, beverages, or on-the-go meals. Next slide, please. Each Wednesday, the Sapphic Meal Foundation prepares and delivers 35 fresh vegetarian meals, which are distributed in the pantry. Additional on-the-go meals are provided by the Middlesex College Foundation through the Hospitality, Culinary, and Dietetics program, Quality Food Production class, who prepare, package, and freeze 4,500 meals per academic year that are available in our pantry freezer. Next slide, please. Our Community Resource Hub helps students find support for their basic needs, such as food, clothing, housing, utilities, healthcare, transportation, and childcare. We help students who don't have a computer of their own with our Chromebook Loaner program and the Foundation's Chromebook Ownership program. We manage the Foundation's Student Emergency Grant, and we offer case management to support students' wellness, persistence, and access to services. Next slide, please. The pantry was founded in 2018. Pictured here are 2 of the founders, Student Life Coordinator Mary Tutalo and retired faculty member Kathy Shea. So let's talk about numbers and growth. In the pantry's first semester, spring 2018, we had a total of 206 visits by 84 individual students. Last semester, fall 2024, there were 2,836 visits by 500 individual students. Next slide, please. This slide further demonstrates the dramatic and constant growth of our service impact. From year 1 to 6, there was a 978% increase in student visits. And just from year 5 to year 6, there was a 40% increase in student visits. Next slide, please. This slide shows a breakdown of service in year 6. So you can see there's 5,956 visits in the year by 822 individual students. And you can see, for example, in the first pie chart that more students are utilizing the pantry for weekly grocery shopping than for the grab and go option. Next slide, please. When our students thrive, their families thrive too. Our support impacts multiple generations. When asked about student success stories, my mind goes to students who I know have overcome many barriers, demonstrating incredible determination, resilience, and perseverance. A remarkable student who has persevered with the support of our Hub and Pantry program is Antoinette Moguel. She began Middlesex in 2022 as a transfer student and mother of a young child. She was working in the medical field and decided to come back to school to become a nurse. She started our nursing program in fall 2023. And that November, she had her second child. These are her 2 beautiful daughters. Antoinette graduates this May and takes her exam to become a licensed registered nurse. Completing a nursing degree while working and caring for 2 young children is a colossal feat, a huge accomplishment. Next slide, please. So we'll share this presentation with you. So if you'd like to see more student success testimonials, you can use the link that I shared on this page. That goes to the Foundation's 2024 Giving Day page, and there are numerous student testimonials there. It was very hard for me to edit these down. Since 2020, the Foundation's Giving Day campaign has focused on supporting our students' basic needs. They have provided $238,796 in support of students through the Hub and Pantry programs. The amazing College Foundation and our incredible grants team truly make our work possible. Since fiscal year 2023, our grants office, together with our grants office, we have secured $485,980 in grant funding that has helped us to stock the pantry, hire additional staff, and purchase supplies and equipment for program operations. We continue to work collaboratively with the Grants Office and Middlesex College Foundation to find ways to sustain our ever-expanding programs. A big thank you to Yamala Fimo, who's here today, and Jacqueline Rivera, Director and Assistant Director of Grants and their team, and to Lisa Kelly, Executive Director of the Middlesex College Foundation and her team. We are also grateful for many community partners. Oh, next slide, please. We're grateful for many community partners and donors who support our students and programs. From Replenish, the Middlesex County Food Bank, where our fantastic facilities team picks up food weekly for our pantry. Thank you, facilities team. To Siwa Diwali, an organization that donates nearly 20,000 pounds of food annually.
Next slide. So how you can help. All of the information about how you can help is on our page on the college website. There are lists about what to donate, a link to a map to show you where you can donate items on campus, as well as a link to Middlesex College's foundation page where you can always safely donate online. And I wanted to share this testimonial in regards to Mary Lou Morano Cagel, a former adjunct English department professor, who leveraged her 70th birthday as a time to collect and share donations to the college food pantry. And we love this quote. At age 70, I needed nothing materialistic and instead thought I'd use the time as an opportunity to encourage those around me to show their giving spirit to support others, said Mary Lou. And this is Mary Lou featured with Amanda Lyons this past summer. Next slide, please. So we have our contact information listed here. And as Amanda said, you all will have the information. But we thank you for your time and really appreciate this opportunity to highlight the amazing services of the team. And at this time, if there's any questions, we'd be happy to answer.
Thank you so much. You are doing a real great job.
Morning, ladies, and thank you for the. If you were to try to highlight a challenge that you're currently seeing amongst our student body population, what would that be?
I would say the biggest challenge, or the most difficult challenge to overcome that a lot of students face is housing. Housing is so expensive here. The cost of rent compared to what many workers take home is not manageable. There's not special math you can do or budgeting you can do to cover bills better when your take-home pay is going directly into housing costs. So that's a big issue. We also have, students who are
Transportation, as well. A lot of students having that barrier, as Amanda said, with rising costs, just like with housing, people being able to access reliable transportation to get to school and childcare, I think, for definitely our adult learners, and just students that, have children, having childcare can definitely be a barrier in being able to come to school.
I assume that you try to connect them with County Board of Social Services to.
Yeah, we work closely with county agencies, with nonprofits. I have been attending regular monthly meetings through the county continuum of care that works with homeless serving organizations. We have somebody from one of those organizations who comes in weekly to do intakes with students. Last year, I think she interviewed 72 students during the academic year who were doing basically a 2-on-1 intake, but in person. So yeah, now that we have a case manager, we'll be able to put more effort into having that initial meeting, but following up and providing ongoing support to students. Because, you know, when you're having these issues, it's overwhelming, and sometimes you really need that friendly helping hand to check in with you, encourage you, and, you know, point you in the right direction.
And asking for help, as we said in the presentation, I think, you know, students being able to know where to go and have that confidence and being able to ask for help and receive those services.
Chairman Raja, excellent presentation. Thank you very much. A student when going to college should be focused on the studies, not on putting food on the table and understanding the need that people have. And the data that you shared about where we were back in 2018 to where we are right now is a testament to the need that exists here. So thank you very much for doing it. And I think getting the word out, you talked about Sava Diwali, a little bit involved in something like that. So getting the word out to increase that as the number of visits increase would be a great effort for all of us to support.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Chairman
much.
Raja?
Yes, yes.
Just want to say thank you to you for the work that you do. Makes you wonder what the students would do if they didn't have you to help them out. I mean, transportation, the housing, and the food. Just being here on the college campus, having a place to go to get a snack or something.
Thank you so much. It is an honor to serve in this capacity. I enjoy to work with our students in this way. I'm very
They keep us going.
excited for graduation this year. It is triumph.
The team that helps to funding for it, so the grants.
Yes.
Thank you, because
Thank you. The wind beneath my wings.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great presentation. Committee report, academic and student affairs, call upon Trustee Anderson.
Thank you very much. We'll turn this over to Dr. Miller.
Thank you, Trustee Anderson. The Academic and Student Affairs Committee has 4 resolutions for consideration this month. The first is the Advanced Endpoint Protection Licenses supported by state and local cybersecurity grant programs. So through the New Jersey Cybersecurity and Communication Integration Cell, the college has been awarded $465,604.50 over a period of 4 years to provide advanced endpoint protection licenses for CrowdStrike's 24/7 managed detection and response and Overwatch service. The second resolution is from the Middlesex County Opioid Settlement Advisory and impacted students has been awarded $150,000 this calendar year to provide a version of the Rising Scholars Program to a student cohort ages 14 to 19 who have been directly or indirectly impacted by the opioid overdose crisis. The program includes a 3-credit trauma-informed student success course, field trips, and curriculum-aligned opportunities to attend cultural events. The third award is from the Middlesex County Magnet School Innovation Dual Enrollment Pilot Grant, which is a sub-award. So the Magnet School has been awarded $39,450 to reimburse the college for tuition for economically disadvantaged students and identified demographic subgroups who are registered in dual enrollment classes. And our final resolution is the Middlesex County 2025 Arts Grant. So the Arts Institute of Middlesex County awarded the college $18,000 to host the Middlesex County Teen Arts Festival on March 12th, 2025. The event is a celebration of the arts for students ages 13 to 19 in middle and high schools from across the county. Students who excel in visual arts, creative writing, dance, music, and theater were showcased. The students also participated in masterclass workshops and had their work adjudicated by professional artists in their respective fields. That concludes the report.
For that informative report. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Have a motion to accept the report.
Have second, please.
Second, trustee Delgado.
Second by Ms. Delgado. Motion is moved and seconded by Ms. Delgado. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
That includes all the resolutions.
Yeah, all the resolution, all the
Resolutions, I'm sorry. 1 through 4.
Thank you. Finance, I will call upon the Oris, please, in behalf of Mr. Taffet.
Thank you, Chairman Raja. Mr. Maltino, you have a report for us this morning.
Yes, I do. Good morning, Mr. Raja, and good morning, Mr. Orris. On March the 12th, 2025, the Finance Committee met at 8:30 a.m. to discuss various fiscal matters at the college. They are contained in 6 finance resolutions before you today. Each resolution is financed from the college's operating funds, Chapter 12 capital funds, minor capital funds, and grant funding. Resolutions 1, 2, 3, and 4 are for purchases, purchases under cooperative awards, fair and open bids, renewals, and contract amendments for various goods and services for fiscal 2025. They are contained in resolutions 1 through 4. Resolution number 5 is the authorization of progress payments to various contractors, architects, and engineers for construction projects occurring on campus that have been previously approved by this body. And the last resolution is resolution number 6 is for the payment of legal fees, first being to the Wiener Law Group in the amount of $753.19 for labor matters during the month of January of 2025. The second being payment to Lerner David for the college's intellectual property and trademark registration in the amount of $612.50, and finally, a payment of $73 to O'Toole Scrivo for other labor matters. Mr. Chairman, that concludes the finance resolutions today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maltino. I would like to make a motion to approve resolutions 1 through 6C.
So moved.
Second by Ms. Strong. All in favor? Opposed? Abstention? Motion is carried. Human Resources, Mr. Horace again.
Thank you, Chairman Raja. Mr. Morgan, you have a report for us this morning.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Orris. So this month we have 32 recommended items in total in the areas of full-time new hires, status changes, separations, and miscellaneous actions. Happy to answer any questions the trustees may have on those resolutions.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan, for your report. I would like to make a motion to approve all resolutions in the categories of hires, change of status, separations, and miscellaneous.
Second, please.
Yeah, I second that, Andy Porter.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion is carried. Call upon Mr. Horace again.
Thank you, Chairman Raja. Excuse me. I'd like to make a motion to approve General Resolution 1.
second, please.
Trustee
Second,
McCormick.
Mitchell. Delgado. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? The motion is carried. Executive session.
There's no need for executive session.
So nice to see you, Sandy. You are here today. Good morning. And we would like to hear on behalf of our Commissioner McCollum.
Thank you all for having me today. It's always a pleasure when I have the opportunity to be here in person, and always a pleasure to attend virtually. I just wanted to comment, if I could, on the presentation that was made about the resource hub for the students. Thank you for your work. It does not go unseen, and I was pleased to see all of the partnerships that are happening with Middlesex County, especially Replenish, Keep Middlesex Moving, and you mentioned MC BOSS. For anyone who doesn't know that acronym, it's Middlesex County Board of Social Services. One thing that I did want to highlight, MC BOSS does have a partnership with the Office of Workforce and Career Development. So if any of your students are taking advantage of any of those social services and they're looking to take a certificate level program at Middlesex College, we do have $890,000 that we secured in a grant for TANF Innovation, which provides additional support for transportation and childcare. So some of those barriers that typically are not covered in TANF funding can be covered with the TANF Innovation Grant. And the New Jersey Department of Labor has been so gracious as to consider extending our ability to offer that funding for an additional year or two, because the office has been going through some transition. So as your students explore the possibilities with the Board of Social Services, please implore them also to contact the Office of Workforce and Career Development if they're taking a certificate level program. We can probably do some level of co-enrollment so that way they can maximize the dollars that they are eligible for. So I just wanted to, I would be remiss if I didn't share that. But I also wanted to highlight the resolutions that you just passed as it relates to the CIO project. We are so grateful for the opportunity to have done the groundbreaking last week for the magnet school, and a couple of weeks prior to that, the groundbreaking for the sports amenities that will be making the CIO project whole and on its way. And so we continue to be really appreciative of the support of not only the college, but also the magnet school. And as the Department Head of Economic Development, we look forward to our partnership and finding opportunities to leverage grant opportunities together, and also any infrastructure amenities and additions that we can make to the campus. Thank you for having me today.
Presence makes difference. Thank you very much. And our gratitude to the commissioners. Thank you. Hoffman, do we have?
There's no report.
Roger, we do, but first I want to thank again Jennifer and Amanda and Connie and Caitlin for all the work you do with the presentation. And Sandy, we're going to take up that offer of the money. So thank you for letting us know about that. We're going to reach out and figure that out. And we also are great people partners with the county in all kinds of ways. So thank you for that. So last week was spring break, and you'd think the campus is not that busy, but we always maximize and leverage the space we have by inviting high school students on campus. And I'm going to focus on one of those events today. Next slide. Spring is on the way. In fact, I think tomorrow is not the first day of spring. It's almost here. We can feel it in the air. Next slide. The event I want to highlight is something called Teen Arts. And so there's a statewide Teen Arts Festival, and there's a county by county festival. And ours, I got to say, is by far the best county festival in the state. We know that in part because 3 years ago, folks in charge of the state Teen Arts Festival said, you do it the best, we're gonna have the state festival in Middlesex. So we're doing that again in June. But as you heard from Annie Hogan when she was here in September, this is one of the partnerships again with the county where the Middlesex County Arts Institute gives a small grant to the college to run and coordinate this incredible experience for students, which happened last Wednesday. We had nearly 1,300 middle and high school students from nearly every middle and high school in the county here on campus. The campus was alive with activity, and they were in all kinds of visual and performing arts. So it involved writing, creative writing, dance, music, theater, all kinds of music. And so when you walk around campus, you literally in the hallways get people practicing their tuba, getting ready to go on and perform. And so what happens is, next slide, throughout the day, you get to see performances where students are performing in front of folks who are experts in their field. Some of our faculty do it, faculty from Mason Gross and other folks around the county give critiques to students to help them become better at their craft. Next slide. This picture, the woman there on the right in the blue and white top is Professor Susan Altman, who's a visual arts professor here, critiquing some of the art that the students have put up. And also what happens then is the state arts people come around and do judging and pick pieces to go to the state festival as well. Many of our students go on to the state competition that'll be happening back here on campus in June. Next slide. So there's Commissioner Dr. Rios, who came along with us to take a tour. Again, one of the best days of the year, and it happens during spring break when you think things will be quiet. It wasn't so quiet. Next slide. I want to talk about our evolving campus, starting next slide, with our new nursing simulation center. So that happened also last week. Some of you were here for that. And I got to say, I have a very moving experience that happened yesterday. Kara Kaldawi, our director of nursing program, which is in partnership with Hackensack Meridian Health, she and the administrators and the faculty in nursing actually are employees of HMH, but they work here on campus. It's our curriculum. We provide the facilities, and we share the revenues that come from that. An amazing partnership. And again, we have one of the best nursing programs in the state. But this particular facility came out of 2 old classrooms, and we turned it into this multi-space simulation center, state-of-the-art, with funding from the Securing Our Children's Future Bond Grant. It was passed a number of years ago by voters, and then you had to apply for money through OSHE to get the funding. We did. This is the result of it. $2 million went into this. And so in the tour that we had, you see some of us who were at the tour there, second-year students showed us how it worked. We'd actually see it in process. So Kara invited me to come and watch an actual classroom demonstration. And so there are really 3 spaces that are involved in the demos. There's the actual room, a little hospital room with 2 beds and mannequins, very high-level functioning mannequins in the room. And they're there by themselves doing all kinds of things to these mannequins that are being programmed by people in a room where you can watch through a 2-way mirror. And so there are faculty watching the students and being the voice of the dummies so that they are responsive and you see the different things go up and down, blood pressure and oxygenation, all kinds of things. That's one space. So that group of students is actually doing the practice on a patient. There's another group of students in a room nearby, and that's where I was to start, who are watching and critiquing so that they can say when the students get together at the end of the demonstration, oh, you did that, but why didn't you do this? Or I thought that was great, but how about this? And so then they switch roles and do it the other way around. So I got to be in all 3 spaces. I got to be first in the room where the students were watching from afar. I got to be in the control room, which was fascinating. And then I got to be in the room with the students. I picked an interesting day to go. It just turned out that when I got there a little late, in the room with the students who were watching, there's a mannequin, a male mannequin, who is naked from the waist down. He's anatomically correct for a male mannequin. And they're catheterizing this young man, right? You're hearing all the sounds about what that's like. That was the main part they were learning, is how to catheterize. But what happened, and I didn't notice when I went there, they often throw the students a curveball as part of the experience. They had the patient start to code. All his vitals went down. They were trying to save him. And this particular patient did not make it. Lasted for half an hour. And the students in the room who were actually performing on this patient did everything perfectly correctly according to the faculty members afterwards in the debrief, but they were devastated by the experience. And I'm getting emotional remembering that. They were actually very upset by it. And the good thing about that experience was it's in a safe environment where you're practicing and you're learning from what you do. And then they go out and actually have a coding event their first time in the real world. It's not quite so hard. So it was an amazing experience to watch and be part of. Hearing the students debrief afterwards, what it felt like, what they learned, what they knew, what they did. A fascinating teaching and learning tool. So we have that available if you want to come someday and watch. I hope you get something more interesting than what I had, but it was really, really fascinating. I really encourage you to take me up on that offer. But also, this is an example of how we take care of our facilities. So we have a 60-year-old campus. Some of the buildings predate us coming here. We have the North Hall, which goes back to the 1930s. And then we have buildings that are less than 10 years old and more to come, right? We have to be good stewards of our facilities. And so we do that in multiple ways. But the main way we do it is by an annual facilities condition audit that Wayne and team conduct with an outside vendor. We look at every building and grade it on different aspects of what needs to be done, critical, not so critical, down the road. So we can use our capital dollars very carefully to keep things in as good a shape as they can be. Obviously, when things break, you have to address them that way as well. But you want to be proactive and preventive and do the things you need to do to keep the buildings operating. So this new facility came out of many years of thinking about what's coming next in nursing, How do we get there so we have the best for our students to learn from? And then finding the funding, in this case, state funding sources, to make that happen. Next slide. There's a photo from the tour we did at the nursing sim lab. That's the room where they were working on the patient when I was watching. Next slide. And there's some of the students and faculty at the end of the event. That's Kara Kadawi there sitting next to me on the left. Next slide. This is a picture on the right of a fairly new building, less than 10 years old, 2016, South Hall. It's a state-of-the-art science lab. We have 7 state-of-the-art bio labs and 7 chem labs, and some office space and some student study space. Lovely building, and it was connected, you can't really see here, on the left, to Main Hall, which is one of the oldest buildings on campus, built right when the college started in the early 70s, and we also spent money on Main Hall. So in Main Hall, we took all the faculty in sciences who've been all over the campus, bio, physics, and chem, put them together in one new master office suite, beautiful suite, and then also repurposed some of the old labs into new specialty labs like geology. So there's some amazing science labs going on here at the college in both Main Hall and in South Hall. And just to give you some of the dollar figures that go along with that, South Hall cost in 2016 $18.2 million. And unlike most of the other projects I'm going to mention today, it was funded by a special general operating bond that New Jersey voters approved in 2012. You had to then access the money through the state. Next slide. That's West Hall, also one of the new buildings, came about the same time, 2016, 2017. And mainly front-facing services for new and returning students. So all the things we do in admissions and financial aid, veteran services, those kinds of things are there, plus some meeting space. Again, badly needed to make sure we're serving our students well. It's a one-stop center concept, which is how things are done now in higher ed for front-facing services. That was funded by something called Chapter 12. If you've heard me at Convocation Talk before, there's a rotating funds for capital projects for community colleges. You can access every year. You get an allocation, but you have to be matched by the county to pay off the bonds. And we have the good fortune that most years the county is able to do that. So this is the Chapter 12 funded project in West Hall, and the number was $12.5 million back in 2016. Next slide. This is North Hall, one of the older buildings on campus, built in 1931. It has had very minor refreshes over the years, but had a major refresh 2 years ago. That whole wing there on the left was added, so we have elevators, so it's ADA accessible, new restrooms, ADA accessible, and refresh the entire building from top to bottom. Chapter 12 project, $3.4 million. That has mainly faculty, staff, and administrative offices, and also some union offices are in there in that building. Next slide. And this is Chambers Hall, and Chambers Hall we're in right now, named after Frank Chambers after he had moved on from being president, originally called the Administrative Services Building. Again, one of the earlier buildings built on campus. And it has had very little refresh since it was built in 1975. And so we spent some money through Chapter 12 money, $4.8 million total, top to bottom refresh. The one area that did not get refreshed much was the executive suite, which got a minor refresh about 20 years ago. So this room is a result of that. This used to be the office where advising took place. It's now a state-of-the-art boardroom, also used for other kinds of events. And then across the hall over here is the new finance suite. And you see on the right there, finance staff in their new suite. Up on the left then is the old finance suite. If you've been there when it was still like that, that orange carpet was original to the building, 50-some years old. It was very swagalicious. Next slide. And then as Sandy Castor mentioned, soon to come, 2 new buildings on the north end of campus near Woodbridge Avenue, an open-air multi-purpose community venue, which we use for all kinds of events, including our sporting events, home games of men's and women's soccer, home games of baseball and softball, also the home field for men's baseball for Rutgers, and yet to come probably 1 or 2 minor league sports teams that will be there regularly, and then we're going to use it other times of the year for festivals like our Fall Harvest Fest. So it'll be a community hub, and it brings people on campus. So the main value for us having that, besides using it for our athletics and our events, is that when people get to see our beautiful campus, as Sandy told me before, they're amazed, and they're interested in finding out more about what they can have happen here at the college in terms of credit, non-credit, workforce, summer camp, all the things we offer. Next slide. The other building I'm very excited about is a 30,000-foot brand new student center. It'll look a little different as you see from most of the buildings on campus, not so much brick, but a little more glitz and light. It'll be between Edison Hall and North Hall and to the south of the stadium, and we'll provide a new focal point for campus. And we'll see in there the new facilities for our culinary arts program upstairs, and downstairs a restaurant that students can use to practice in, some performance space for our students, and the Office for Student Life, and some activities rooms for clubs and honor societies. So a lot of good stuff going to be happening in the Student Center. They should be finished by the fall of 26. And these two buildings, like the others, are costing the college directly nothing. These will be funded by primarily funds from the county with support from the state and other organizations. Next slide. And I like this part the best. We've been all year long talking about our first 60 years, and we're going by decades now. You may recall that last month we talked about the 80s, and Isaac Asimov had been on campus, and the science writer, and he had talked about the future, what it looked like, and then in some place in the future, to be able to talk into a computer and get an answer in seconds. Now we can, right? More about the future here in the 90s. Next slide. So this is a photo of the opening of what was then called the Technical Services Center, which is Billy Johnson Hall now, named later after the Johnson family gave some money to name the building after a deceased son. Next slide. There were some folks at the groundbreaking, including Governor Kane. And Governor Kane has something interesting to say, if I can find it here, at the groundbreaking. He commended the college for preparing students for the workplace of the future, which he said would include more specialized computer and technical skills. Although mainly in that building now is engineering. Next slide. Areas under construction. Next slide. Front. Next slide. And that robot there. So that was a robot that was actually at Great Adventure in the late 80s, and we brought it to campus for part of the groundbreaking and opening of the Technical Services Center, now I believe Johnson Hall. I'm not sure what it did, but that's what it was. Next slide. And speaking of the future, this is 1992. Those were kiosks that were all over campus, and they were multimedia information kiosks. And here's what they did. They were called COLTNet, and COLT was the abbreviation for College Online Transaction Network. They offered access to a variety of features, including a campus map, directions to campus, direct connection to offices around campus, and a calendar of events. You would also print a student schedule for 25 cents or send a fax via the multimedia kiosks. Next slide. This is an article from our student newspaper, Covadis, in 1992. The college sent a banner as part of many other things on board the Space Shuttle Atlantis. And the reason we got to do that is that Colonel Ronald Grabe, who was on that mission, was the brother of our chemistry professor, Linda Christopher. And so she hooked us up with him to get one of our banners to launch into space. Next slide. We had some dignitaries on campus in the 90s. This is President George H.W. Bush, the first Bush president. When he was running for re-election in 92, he came and spoke in front of the Technical Services Center. He did not win re-election. Next slide. We also had the Clintons, Bill and Hillary, on campus in 1994 during Bill Clinton's first term. And he spoke in the PE Center to a crowd of 2,500 AARP senior citizens about health care. Next slide. I'm going to end with some alumni, famous alumni from the 90s. There may be others, if I missed them, my apologies, but these are four that I found. Clockwise top left to bottom left. Clary Ascona-Barber is a member of the Middlesex County Board of County Commissioners. First Dominican woman at that level in the entire state of New Jersey. On the right is Helman Cava, a proud alum who's the mayor of Perth Amboy. Bottom right is the Alumnus of the Year 2023, Eric Kearney, who's the CEO of Monmouth Medical Center and a very generous donor to the foundation. And bottom left, Claudia Meir, who is this year's 2024 Alumnus of the Year, who works for Rutgers in the Collaborative Center in New Brunswick. Some great examples of people who've taken what they learned here at Middlesex and on to great things and serve the public. And Roger, that's the report for this month.
It was very nice. Excellent.
Cat's not here.
Any old business? Any new business? Comments from nobody registered for comments?
Chair Raja, no one has registered to speak.
Thank you very much. Captain Foreman, any final remarks?
Mr. Raja, I do a couple things coming up that you should have on your calendars. Friday, May the 2nd, beginning at 5:30 over in West Hall, will be our annual casino night event. This year it's called Diamonds and Dice in recognition of the college's 60th Diamond Anniversary. $100 per ticket. You get lots of food, chips to play games, and then if you win at the games tables, you get to put the tickets in turkey trays and win prizes. A lot of fun, helping raise money for scholarships. So please join us for that event. Tuesday, May 13th is our annual commencement exercises. We didn't get our usual Thursday because Rutgers is having some of their commencement exercises on that day, but it'll be a great day. We're starting at 9:30 this year instead of 10. And last year we took a little longer than before to get all the students, 750 across stage. Much more tight time schedule this year. We should be out by noon, so I hope you all can join us. The trustees should be there about 8:45. Breakfast, get robed, everybody recess. We start right at 9:30, and that's going to be a day to remember. Mr. Robin.
As we have no further business to conduct this morning, the board is adjourned until the next regular meeting, Wednesday, April 16, 2025 at 5 p.m. in the Dorothy K. Power boardroom on Zoom with link will be posted on the college website. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.